Olajuwon, who has delivered one of the greatest runs of sustained excellence in playoff history. Respect is also elusive when you are deemed too young. The Orlando Magic were labeled too immature, too inexperienced to contend for a title this year. It's too soon, they were told.
At the beginning of the season, I looked at the projected starting five: Horace, Nick, D. Scott, Penny, myself, and I said, we can do it.
And so far, they have done it. Orlando has simply turned the clock ahead. Their party starts now. Tonight, the reigning champs against the precocious challengers. The NBA Finals, next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1995 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 1 between the Houston Rockets and the Orlando Magic.
The arena in Orlando already roaring. This year, the Magic have gone 46-4 in this building, counting the playoffs. And tonight, they open the NBA Finals against the defending champion Houston Rockets, who have shown repeatedly that they can win anywhere, under any conditions. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. Welcome to the NBA Finals. The story here is this. The Orlando Magic is universally regarded as the NBA's team of the future. There are almost certainly championships ahead for Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hardaway, and company. The question is, can the Rockets make them wait a little longer? Maybe not, because with each passing game, the Magic seem more resourceful, more sure of themselves. Their youth no longer such an obstacle. Speaking of obstacles, the Rockets just ran the NBA's version of the steeplechase. No team has ever been seeded as low as 6th and won the title. But that's where the Rockets began this postseason, and without home court advantage in any series, they have already beaten the teams with the 3 best records in the league. If the Rockets should win it all, much credit will go to the bold trade which brought them Clyde Drexler from Portland, giving the veteran guard his 3rd shot at the NBA Finals. But most of the credit will go to Hakeem Olajuwon, whose stunning run of playoff brilliance has elevated him beyond All-Star or even MVP status and into the ranks of the very greatest who have ever played the game. 23-year-old Shaquille O'Neal seems destined someday, perhaps someday soon, to be placed in that same company. But for now, the 32-year-old Olajuwon is the NBA's best player. His team, its defending champion. Starting tonight, O'Neal and the Magic test themselves against those standards. We'll step aside now, and when we come back, Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Bill Walton join you as our coverage of the NBA Finals continues.
Outside of Disney, it is the biggest event to ever hit Orlando. The NBA Finals have come to Central Florida with the Orlando Magic getting ready to go against the defending champion Houston Rockets. And this is the scene outside the Rockets locker room just moments ago.
Aggressive. Let's keep our trophy. This is our joint, yo. We ain't giving it up right now. Yo, we're gonna make it hard on them, yo. Pressure all night long. Yo, they don't think they respect us either, yo. Let's show what's up. Let's show them what's up. Let's show them up. Let's show the world, yo. Show the world tonight. One, two, three, Rockets.
We welcome you to the Orlando Arena. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with Matt Gukas, and we are delighted to be joined by Hall of Famer Bill Walton, the man who can certainly relate to the much-anticipated marquee matchup of the center position between Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem Olajuwon. Bill, how do you break it down?
Marv, the history of the game that comes to a head in this series as we're on the collision course between the game's 2 most dominant big men, one trying to maintain the status quo and the other one trying to force a changing of the guard. Hakeem Olajuwon, the game's best player, the defending champion, plays with an incredible sense of poise and pride, and Shaquille O'Neal, the toughest guy in the league to guard. Their numbers in the playoffs this year have just been sensational. But when all is said and done, there will be a clear-cut winner between one of these 2 guys, and that man will write the next chapter in the history of basketball, Marv.
And Matt, although much of the attention has focused on the matchup at center, it may well be the subplot to this series could determine the outcome.
Barb, no question they are the central figures, but I think the series will turn on the play of people like Nick Anderson. Plays like this hustle and flick on Michael Jordan, which stole the first game from Chicago. The blanket job on Reggie Miller in Game 7, keeping him from being a factor. And Nick slashing and driving gives the Magic offense some added punch. So far, Nick has guarded Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller in the playoffs. And now it's on to Clyde Drexler, a man who is very hungry, looking for his first NBA championship.
All right, so coming up, it's Game 1 of this best of 7 between the Rockets and the Magic. When we come back, we'll have the introduction of the starting lineups. Now look at downtown Orlando. Beautiful 95-degree day that was earlier this afternoon. Through the course of this playoff run, the Houston Rockets have been an extraordinary road ball club. 5 straight wins on the road. They have won 7 of 10 overall. We're set for the introduction of the starting lineups. Let's join with Paul Porter on the public address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the beautiful Orlando Arena. And tonight's Game 1 of the 1995 NBA Finals, featuring the Western Conference champion Houston Rockets and your Eastern Conference champion Orlando Magic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the starting lineup for the Western Conference champion Houston Rockets. And one guard, 6'7" from Houston, number 22, Clyde Drexler. At the other guard, 6'3" from North Carolina, number 30, Kenny Smith. At center, 7 foot from Houston, number 34, Hakeem Olajuwon. And one forward, 6'5" from American International, number 17, Mario Elie. The other forward, 6'10", from Alabama, number 25, Robert Horry. The head coach of the Rockets is Rudy Tomjanovich. State, number 1, Henry Hardaway. And at center, 7'1" from LSU, number 32, Shaquille O'Neal. The head coach of the Magic is Brian Hill.
For our sideline coverage tonight, we have a combination of Ahmad Rashad and Hannah Storm. Let's start with the D. Here's Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Horace Grant certainly can take a lot of credit for getting this team playing the way they are now. He can also take a lot of credit on last Sunday when they were playing against Indiana. He was the guy going up and down the bench, cheering his teammates on, trying to get them into this final. Well, today, in that same role, he showed up in the locker room with all 3 of his championship rings from Chicago to show his teammates that if they do it right, this is what's in store for them. Hannah?
Thanks, Ahmad. Well, the Rockets tell me they're rejuvenated from their 5-day layoff after this grueling Western Conference playoff series. However, they had a big injury concern coming into this one, and that was Akeem Olajuwon, who bruised the top of his left hand in practice on Monday. Akeem has just told me that the swelling and the pain have gone down. He's not concerned about it in the game, particularly because it's his non-shooting hand. Rudy Tomjanovich has emphasized to his team defensive intensity. He said, don't let these guys get comfortable, particularly on their home floor. Mark?
Thank you, Hannah. And the officials, Joe Crawford, Dick Bavetta, and Steve Javi. And we are set for Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Both teams with similar styles. Both teams like to launch the 3 anywhere from 20 to 25 times on average. Bill, I think a big factor in this whole series is who gets out and gets the easy baskets. Both teams like to go with it.
Houston has to get the ball to Akeem Olajuwon virtually every time down for 7 straight games. Then they've got to force Orlando to play set offense and make them work at that time and time again. And they've got to get in Penny Hardaway's face and not let him advance the ball easily.
Olajuwon and O'Neal set for the opening tip. The official, Joe Crawford, with the ball. And we're underway. The Rockets control. Kenny Smith picked up by Penny Hardaway. Robert Horry setting the pick. Clyde Drexler, who will be covered by Nick Anderson. Akeem lost it. And Orlando to the offense.
Patient defense by O'Neal.
And Shaquille gets possession. Horace Grant for Penny Hardaway.
The Rockets, one of the poorest offensive rebounding teams in the league there. They showed they're not a very good defensive rebounding team at times, mainly because they're very small out there. They don't have another big forward to go along with Olajuwon.
Here's Kenny Smith hitting the 3. Well, we saw the Rockets taking advantage of the double team of the quick release from Olajuwon to Smith.
And usually when Penny gets scored on, he wants to go down and post up the man that just scored on him. Not this time.
Horace Grant, right back. The Magic 4, the Rockets 3.
That's a move right there where you go one way, come back with the jump hook. That'll work well for Akeem against Shaq. Get the big guy moving and come back the other way.
Robert Horry coming off the outstanding series against San Antonio, taking the lead from Drexler, but it was slightly off. Anderson for Hardaway, posting up. Grant. So Howard not able to hit, but O'Neal right there. But we see at the start that Horace Grant is able to get the open look.
Well, now he's up at the top. His man will go down and double team Hardaway, but when you're in that kind of defensive rotation, that's when you're vulnerable on the offensive boards. Shaq cleaned up nicely.
Shaq showing his strength early. And Houston looks rusty from the long layoff. I think the rest is going to hurt them.
Hardaway feeding O'Neal, and a foul is called. At first, Hardaway with the notion to take the 3. Drexler trying to help out, called for the foul.
I think a big difference is the lighting in this building. The Western Conference buildings are a lot brighter than this.
Well, just hang around a little, Bill. In about 15 minutes, it'll all be back on. That's from the introductions. It takes a while.
I saw Bill chatting with the lighting director prior to the start of the telecast. And it had me puzzled, frankly, Matt.
Turn it up, make it bright, make it loud.
Drexler, and rebounded by Scott. 2.5 gone by, and the Magic up 6-3. Grant with the hip fake. And the foul.
Well, the Magic don't normally run a lot of plays for Horace Grant, but we've seen two opportunity situations. In transition, where Horace just goes down, takes position. Robert Horry is 6'10", same as Horace Grant, but Horace Grant a much stronger player inside.
Robert Horry called for the foul as first, and Horace Grant, man signed as a free agent after 7 years with the Chicago Bulls, seeking his 4th championship ring. Orlando 9, Houston 3. Mario Elie for Akeem Olajuwon, who went to the crossover, and he's being guarded now by Grant. Olajuwon, yes.
Akeem has added that shot to his arsenal. He's pump faking a lot, something he did early on in the games where David Robinson was successful. Later on, when he abandoned the fake and went straight to it, he killed David Robinson.
Hardaway rejected by Horry. Good play by Horry to come over. Have you ever seen a man at the center position with better footwork than Akeem?
No, I have not. He has the footwork of a guard. He does study the guard's moves. I think he and Michael Jordan have the best footwork in the entire NBA. And that's an offensive foul.
And that's the call from Joe Crawford. So Shaquille picks up his first.
Shaq loves to set this ferocious pace underneath. It just rolls over and bruises Akeem's sternum right there.
That's the second time Akeem has given that kind of position to Shaq. If he lets him keep getting it, he'll get killed, but he got a break there as Shaq was a little bit over anxious.
Olajuwon with a good move, working his way down low. The Magic 9, the Rockets 7.
A break. Shaq just ran over the guy.
Yes. Yeah, but he got the foul on Shaq. And of course, the Rockets don't have the manpower to be fouling Shaq. In fact, the 2 regular season games played, Shaq only shot a total of 7 free throws.
Anderson not able to hit the 3, and the foul against the Rockets.
Akeem picks up.
Was hit by Olajuwon.
He was forced to grab him. Shaq puts so much pressure on the defense, especially when it's a scramble situation. He's so big and so strong and works so relentlessly for that deep position.
Hardaway backing his way on Smith. That's a very difficult matchup for Kenny Smith.
For any point guard in the NBA, Hardaway, with the complete arsenal of weapons, can hit from the outside, the post-up game, and a different type of point guard than Houston is used to playing.
Olajuwon off the fake and hit with the reach-in.
Foul number 1.
Foul on Hardaway.
On this side out-of-bounds play, they like to go to Penny against the smaller point guard. It looked like the Rockets were not ready for it, not ready to come to double. Actually, Akeem thought about coming, but no way does he want to leave Shaquille for a cut to the hole.
Elie was open because Scott was helping out. Elie with the save. Nice play by Mario Elie. And here's Elie from downtown. Anderson with the box out on Drexler.
Orlando's going to double team Akeem every time possible in the low post.
Scott for 3. Dennis Scott, who was on fire right throughout the Indiana series, extends to a 14-7 Magic lead.
So far, the Magic defense very aggressive, taking the Rockets out of any kind of rhythm, and they look rattled by it.
Magic, one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball.
Elie with Anderson back. Elie going all the way, but could not put it down. Anderson for Hardaway. Here's Hardaway putting moves on. And the Rockets want to talk it over.
Akeem Olajuwon, a terrific passer, finds Mario Elie, who can't convert the layup. And then comes right back on a transition play and misses a dunk. You got to play perfect if you're going to win the NBA championship. Rudy Tomjanovich just irate and says, oh, goodness gracious sakes alive. I got to have a timeout.
Matt, is that what he said?
Something like that. I'm not really sure, but what made it even worse for the Houston Rockets that on the first miss, it turns into a three-pointer for Dennis Scott. On the next one, a fast break dunk for Penny Hardaway. So it's almost like a 9-point play. 5 for the Magic and a 4 that Houston did not get.
And that's the spread in this ballgame, 9.
7-0 run by Orlando. Houston has missed its last 4 shots.
5.
And yes, Drexler coming up short. Anderson able to handle.
Houston's not attacking. They're standing back. They're firing up in the perimeter. Dump it inside. You got to get Shaq back on his heels. If that's possible.
Hardaway. And Penny Hardaway is having his way in the early going against Kenny Smith.
And the Rockets just had an awful time guarding screen roll in games 3 and 4 of the San Antonio series with Vinny Del Negro, and we saw why on that particular play.
Grant with the box out.
Houston looks very rusty. This is not the team that dominated the Western Conference playoffs.
Nice pass from Hardaway. Orlando 20, Houston 7.
Well, the Magic are just a step quicker in every area. The touch pass by Hardaway, and the Rockets are very slow in their rotation.
Olajuwon drawing the foul. So Hakeem will go to the line. It was fouled by Shaquille. That's 2 on O'Neal.
Hakeem is so conscious of staying with O'Neal, not letting him get a roll to the basket. An excellent defender, but he didn't show it there by helping his teammates. But somebody from the weak side has to help out. Hardaway saw it all the way, knew he had Grant wide open inside.
Hakeem at the line off the foul by Shaq. The backup, Hakeem appears to lose his balance. Maybe a double dribble there, and an easy foul call there, but Shaq has to sit down. The defense for the pick and roll for Houston is just not good. And they played against Stockton, KJ, and Avery Johnson throughout the Western Conference, so they should be ready. Their plan looks confused.
And Shaquille O'Neal sitting it out after picking up his second. Jeff Turner, who had some big moments. That was an intended pass from Anderson. Well, yes, that worked for Brian Shaw in the Indiana series. Did not work right here. Jeff Turner played well against the Pacers. He is in there replacing Shaquille O'Neal. Olajuwon draws the foul, yes, and it counts.
Well, the Magic had plans of using Horace Grant on Hakeem from time to time, and especially when Shaq would get into foul trouble, but they don't want him to be the primary defender as he has to be right now. Olajuwon just has too many weapons for Horace Grant.
How late was the double team, though? He must have taken 3 dribbles there, and nobody came. Well, especially with Horace Grant. You got a double team every time.
Hakeem with 8 points. He's hit 3 of 4 from the field. The rest of the Rockets 1 for 9. And that's the story here at the start. Grant. And Kenny Smith corrals the rebound.
Horace Grant will try to get around in front.
And again, Olajuwon keeping the Rockets alive in this first quarter.
Well, he's uncanny with so much of his offense, but Bill, when he gets the ball almost below the backboard and still able to make that jump shot, I have never been able to figure out how he can make that.
Well, Bill Russell's here. He's our halftime guest. Maybe he'll have some kind of clue as to...
And a reach-in foul on Ellie.
When Hakeem is on the baseline, he loves to hitch to the middle and then turn to that baseline. Just ignoring the defense. I don't care if this is Shaq or this is David Robinson, Horace Grant, Penny Hardaway. Bring them all on. Just face you all up.
And Olajuwon has scored Houston's last 10 points. Those of you who have been following the NBA right throughout the season well aware that this team is the worst free throw shooting club in the league at 67%. That's due in large part by the problems that Shaquille O'Neal has had at the line.
A team I would fit in quite well on, Marv.
What was your lifetime?
Oh, embarrassingly low.
Horry with the finger roll. Grant with the rebound.
Well, we see why the Rockets are not a good offensive rebounding team. 4 people spread out around the perimeter. Nobody going to the glass.
Jeff Turner. And Olajuwon rebound.
Dangerously close to snatching that off the rim for a goaltend.
Good transition defense, however, by the Magic. Normally the Rockets would get out and run with that.
Olajuwon to the fadeaway. 3.5 remaining in this opening quarter. Hardaway with the pull-up. Yes, and the foul.
Hakeem's on a pace to take about 50 shots in this game. But Penny Hardaway's the one who's making all of his shots. When a 6'7" point guard with that butterfly type ability to float over the court and change directions and pull up and hit the jumpers. I don't know how you guard him either.
Well, for a while, I thought Kenny Smith did a good job by containing him and keeping him from driving to the basket. But then he committed the sin of fouling the jump shooter. He did all he could do. Just let him take the shot challenge.
Kenny Smith sitting down. Sam Cassell, who has been a terrific big game player for the Rockets, has come on for Kenny Smith. Ellie off the head fake and fires one and hits. Would you guys explain that shot?
Well, maybe he's just a tough shot maker and can't make those layups.
When you're playing as poorly as Ellie started off in the offensive end, might as well throw something wild up. See if you're really hot, just nervous.
And back comes Ellie. Fast break for the Rockets. Cassell challenging Turner, and it's an offensive foul. Orlando calling for time. They lead by 10 with just under 3 minutes to go in the first.
Well, Mario Ellie had some problems with very makeable layups. Here he had to do the little double clutch and release from his knee, and I think he called glass, Bill. I don't know if you heard him.
His foot was outside the foul line when he took off. And then Jeff Turner trying to take charges. I don't know. He's kind of tall to be taking charges. You got to be a shot blocker if you're that big.
Team Olajuwon off to a fast start in this first quarter, 4 of 6 for the field, 10 points, had the sensational series against the San Antonio Spurs. We've talked about that with Houston coach Rudy Tomjanovich. Asked for his thoughts on Hakeem's play against the Spurs.
If I had to say just one word, it's legendary performance. I think people will be talking about that performance in the San Antonio series for many, many years. And the reason being because we're up against a great team. And San Antonio is just a fantastic team, and David Robinson, an MVP, great defensive player, very competitive, very intelligent player. And for Hakeem to have had a series like he did is just, like I said, legendary.
I don't think anyone has ever played as well as Hakeem Olajuwon did in this past 6-week playoff series.
And Bill, the bucket by Nick Anderson extending to the 27-15 Orlando lead. Chucky Brown, who just came in, not able to hit. And rebounded by Horace Grant.
Horace Grant is killing him. He's got 7 points, 7 rebounds to start the game. And nobody's put a body on him yet.
And the Rockets look like they're hearing footsteps, like Shaquille is out there or something, ready to block a shot. They are really squeezing off those layups.
Shot clock at 5. Turner on the drive. The tip missed by Grant and handled by Brown. Rockets with Olajuwon up front, along with Chucky Brown and Clyde Drexler, Mario Ellie, Sam Cassell. Brown. And a whistle before the shot attempt foul called against Orlando. That's number 2 on Hardaway.
2 stars for Orlando with 2 fouls. The 12-point deficit, that can be made up. But what is not good for Houston is how rusty they look. They haven't played since last Thursday night. They wrapped it up in game 6. They were playing every other day, sharp as razors. Now flat.
Olajuwon off a triple team. One with a 2-hander. And rebounded by Grant. Ryan Shaw handling just came on for Penny Hardaway. Ryan Shaw relocating the 3-point touch in the series against Indiana. Anderson got tied up. Finding Turner. Yes. A 3 for Jeff Turner. The Magic doubling the score. They're up 30-15.
Well, without Hardaway and O'Neal in there, Nick Anderson becomes the go-to guy in post-up situations against a very tough and taller defender in Drexler. Nick got shut off, but found the open man.
No basket.
Nice penetration by Cassell. The basket and the foul on Shaw.
But the beauty of the Magic is that guys like Nick Anderson, when Shaq and Penny go to the bench, they don't miss a beat because they got other guys like Nick Anderson, like Dennis Scott, that can just flat out play great offense and run everything through them.
Sam Cassell, out of Florida State in his second NBA season, entered the NBA without much acclaim, but made his mark as a big game player. And the basket by Cassell waved off. It's a two-shot situation for Sam, and he's able to take advantage.
Marv, you weren't a big Florida State or Dunbar High School fan?
Absolutely.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yes.
There's not much acclaim for Sam Cassell.
No, in terms of the NBA.
Oh, yes, of course.
In terms of the draft.
Well, they had Charlie Ward and Bobby Sura, guys who got more acclaim.
And the offensive foul.
Offensive foul, number 31.
Called on Jeff Turner.
His first no-team foul.
What I'm saying, a lot of clubs had a shot at Sam Cassell and passed him by, but has certainly proved his worth come playoff time. A look at the offensive foul committed by Jeff Turner. 35 seconds to go in this first quarter. Here is Cassell. Yes, a three for Cassell.
And isn't it amazing, Marv, how so many guys like Cassell slip way down? Latrell Sprewell, another example. AC Green, another.
Magic 30, Rockets 19. Shaw off balance. And last touched by Houston.
Another one, Nick Van Exel. That's what makes scouting so hard, Bill. The scouts go out there and look at their college games, and then a lot of times you don't see these players at Chicago, at Phoenix, and you kind of lose track of them, and that's how these people get lost in the draft.
Do those scouts, do they get paid on a guaranteed basis or on an incentive basis? How well the guy does.
Are you suggesting a new pay system structure?
Yeah, I'd give it all to Shaq and Hakeem.
And that's it for the first quarter. Fast start by the Eastern Conference champion, Orlando Magic. Hakeem 4 of 7 for 10 points. Shaquille 1 of 2 for only 2 points and early foul trouble, picking up the 2 and taking a seat. Houston only 7 of 21 shooting in the first quarter. The Magic by 11. We'll be back in Orlando in a moment.
You're watching the 1995 NBA Finals on NBC.
Defending U.S. Open champion Ernie Els on hand here at the arena. With the minus, that's Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. 2 on the West Coast. NBC Sports will present a Centennial of Champions, the celebration of the USGA, and a preview of the 95th U.S. Open. That's Sunday right here on NBC. Let's check in with our sideline reporters, Ahmad Rashad and Hannah Storm. First, Ahmad.
All right, Marv, Brian Hale telling his team they did a great job on the double team for the team, making him throw the ball out every time he got down. And on the other end of it, they thought that they were doing a great job against the double team, getting great spot-up shots, wants him to continue to do the same. Hannah?
Well, Ahmad Tomjanovich, not angry, not panicking, simply told his team, hey, we got that out of our system. We missed some easy shots. We can fight our way back into this one. That's what the Rockets tend to do, come together when they're down, particularly on the road. Marv?
All right, Hannah, Anthony Bowie, a one-time member of the Houston Rockets, opening up the second quarter with the jump shot. Bowie played very well against the Pacers late in the series, and a pretty drive off glass by Clyde Drexler. That's his first field goal. The Magic 32, the Rockets 21. Shaquille O'Neal is back on the floor, back to the matchup with Hakeem Olajuwon, and goes right at it.
That's what Hakeem has to do defensively. That's the only thing I think you can do against Shaq is make him take that turnaround jumper. He doesn't get fouled on it much, and he doesn't get second chance points off it.
But Shaq helped him out there. Shaq, I think, is a little gun shy right now about going inside with those 2 personal fouls.
Shot clock at 4. And Shaquille able to rip it away from Clyde Drexler.
Houston did not take advantage when Shaq was out. The 5 minutes and the 5.5 minutes he was out, Houston only outscored Orlando by 2 points in that stretch.
O'Neal with a nice pass to Shaw.
Shaq has got his total game in sync. The passing, hitting the cutters. Houston, they're just standing around watching Shaq deal.
Olajuwon and Turner with the rebound. Brian Shaw operating at point guard for Anthony Hardaway. Oh, he got the snap. And rebounded by Olajuwon.
Everything looks like a somewhat easy scoring opportunity for the Magic. Taking the ball in the basket. Now the Rockets finally get something going to the hole. Drexler got one a little earlier.
And a pretty move by Ori, eluding Turner. Little head fake, and he went around a 34-23. Orlando, Robert Ori with his first field goal. And the call by Steve Javy. Foul against Anthony Bowie.
Well, Shaq has really been making this pass on the move, which is tough for a big man. But he has good vision where all the defenders on the floor. He's been able to find that cutter to the hole.
Robert Ori, so necessary for the Rockets attack for somebody besides Hakeem to play well. It's got to be somebody. Ori, Drexler, Cassell, they're all prime candidates.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Acura, who invites you to test drive the exciting new TL Series. By the Prudential, peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock. And by Budweiser, the king of beer. This Bud's for you.
The Magic want to get Shaq involved inside. Anthony Bowie going to set a screen across on Olajuwon, and Shaq coming across the lane, going to stop in the lane, dead with Olajuwon on him back, which is a good scoring opportunity. Unfortunately for the Magic, Anthony Bowie called for the illegal screen, but when Shaq catches there, he'll do a lot of damage. They want to get him going. He's only got one field goal.
They'll do a lot of damage to your sight by destroying it and smashing you through the basket.
2.5 gone by in the second quarter. And an 11-point lead for the Magic. Game one of this best-of-7 NBA Finals Series. Illegal defense call for the first time this evening.
One of the rare times that Hakeem won't be in the post for Houston. They swing Ori in, who was a college center at Alabama. And as most centers, he achieves his dream by finally playing forward.
Yes, of course. And Ori stopped by Anderson, able to get it out to Olajuwon. Ori, oh, nicely done. The extension going glass by Robert Ori.
Orlando's defense is so strong.
The alley-oop for Shaquille O'Neal. And it's Orlando 36 and Houston 25.
That is not Houston's defensive game plan.
Ori for three. And rebounded by Shaw.
Shaq in transition.
Hakeem has not scored in the last 7 minutes. O'Neal, yes, and it counts.
When you try for the front, you got to maintain body contact. He feels, he grabs, but he doesn't move back enough, and he gets dunked on. How embarrassing is that?
Well, the amazing thing is that most players don't even get into the play. Hakeem Olajuwon almost recovered and got back in it. Once again, when Shaq catches it in that dark painted area with the defender on his back, nothing you can do but foul him if you're going to try to stop him.
And Olajuwon sitting down after picking up his second. Shaquille on the line for the first time, completing the three-point play. 7-4 Shaquille O'Neal and a 14-point Orlando lead. Charles Jones, the 38-year-old, 11-year man, has come on. Oh, what a spin by Drexler.
This is why the Rockets wanted to get Drexler for when Olajuwon is struggling or on the bench. They have another go-to guy. This is what he can do inside. Clyde Drexler, one of the best big guard post-up players in the business.
Anthony Bowie's been hitting the three. He's 4 of 5 from downtown in the playoffs. They say his foot was on the line. It's a two-parter he has been hitting, though, from long range. And a foul is called on the Magic.
Rockets are down by 14 points. Akeem to the bench for the first time. Guys like Clyde Drexler, this is their opportunity to get off the dime here and get the game rolling in their favor.
Foul on Bowie. Chucky Brown sitting down. Drexler, and he'll go to the line. Pete Chilcutt has come on, replacing Chucky Brown. Bowie collecting his third foul. Chucky Brown sitting down with 5 rebounds. And now Rudy Tomjanovich with a lineup of Jones, Chilcutt, and Ori up front. Drexler and Cassell at the guards. Hardaway and Scott getting set to come back for the Magic.
Substitution number 3, Dennis Scott.
Clyde Drexler, so important to this team. He's the classic rebounding guard. One of the best rebounders in the NBA from the backcourt. Led the NBA in defensive rebounds and was third on the offensive glass.
At the time of the trade, that was back on February 14th when Drexler was acquired for Otis Thorpe. Not a popular deal. Did you guys like it at the time?
I loved the deal because you got to have offensive players. Rebounders, they're the easiest guys to replace.
Oh, yeah. Where do you find them?
Offensive foul on Cassell, and Joe Crawford calling a technical. Did not like the reaction from Sam Cassell.
Well, this all started when Sam first got into the ballgame and a call went against him. He started barking at the officials. Joe Crawford has a very long memory, and when things aren't going Sam's way, he often loses his composure. Sometimes his decisions aren't the best. As far as the Drexler Thorpe thing, I thought it was a bad move for the Rockets. This was part of their championship team last year. A guy they were going to need. There's that foul again. The offensive foul called on Sam Cassell. And any kind of gyration like that, Joe Crawford will nail you.
I like that technical foul. Houston's got to do something to get back in this game. Get on the refs, get the crowd booing. Right now, the crowd's just having a big party.
Although I don't think that was Sam Cassell's plan. As Ori is fouled. I don't believe that was a premeditated, emotional technical that Sam took. Brian Shaw called for the foul, his second.
This is the Rockets game when they can get out in the open floor. Transition basket. An opportunity to get an easy basket or a three-point play. This is when they're playing their best. Then they supplement it with the obvious post-ups for Olajuwon or Drexler. Then when the double teams come, that's when those three-point shots become a little bit easier because you've already hit a couple of layups.
Robert Ori, in his third year out of Alabama, has really made his mark in the playoffs.
To show you how good Orlando is, Houston's the defending champions, and they're the ones that look nervous.
O'Neal, played by Jones. Grant with the spin. And the reverse. Horace Grant, 9 points, along with 9 rebounds. Drexler going all the way, and he draws the foul.
Well, I think Horace Grant, for 7 years, saw another fella who used to wear number 23, and I guess still does, make these kinds of shots. But I don't think Horace Grant ever thought he would do it in this situation. That pass spun him around, and then he does the Jordan-esque move.
Timeout call. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Friday night, it's Game 2 of the NBA Finals. The matchup you've been waiting for continues as the Rockets battle the Magic. Friday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on NBC.
Well, there's been so much excitement here in Orlando the past couple of days. The Magic advancing to the finals with that dramatic win Sunday over Indiana, capping off the Eastern Conference Final Series, and a wild seat at the end of the game with Coach Brian Hill hoisted to the shoulders of Shaquille O'Neal. We talked about that with Brian Hill.
Well, it took me by surprise because he came up from behind me and all of a sudden I was 8 feet in the air, which is an unusual feeling. But Yeah, it was a tremendously exhilarating feeling to realize that you were on your way to the NBA Finals. I'm sure that every coach and every player dreams of the opportunity, and it was just a wonderful feeling. And certainly to have him express it that way meant a lot to me also.
A real class move by Shaquille O'Neal. Brian Hill very rarely gets any credit for this team's success. He does a wonderful job by and large. And of course, there was a much publicized blow-up in practice that they had late in the regular season. And there was a shouting match between Shaq and Brian Hill, and Shaq dispelled all those rumors.
That's a normal production meeting for us here at NBC. I don't know what all the fuss was about.
Yeah, you telling me to go get more coffee.
That's right. 6.5 remaining in the first half, and the Magic leading by 12. They double up on O'Neal. Anderson for three. Yes. Nick Anderson with a second field goal. He has 5 points.
A little wrinkle now for the Rockets. They brought Charles Jones in to guard O'Neal, and Akeem watched Horace Grant, trying to give him a little breather defensively and see if he can't help out in the lane.
And Olajuwon with 12 points, 47-34 Orlando. Again, the double team, and a bad pass could not be handled by Hardaway.
Number 17, Mario Ellie, replacing Clyde
Akeem Olajuwon taking advantage of the much shorter Horace Grant. They want Horace to try to front, but Akeem is so strong and moves so well, almost impossible to front him effectively unless you got the range of David Robinson, which Horace Grant does not have.
And 10 minutes between buckets for Olajuwon. Akeem is now 5 of 10 from the field. Scott played by Ori. Hardaway guarded by Cassell. Here's Scott changing his mind on the 3, goes for the 2. And handled by Ori. Cassell with a 2-on-1, feeding Ellie, and this time he's able to stuff. 47-36 Orlando.
Maybe Ellie is part of that midnight hoops program. Doesn't really get started until it gets close to the hour.
Big front line now for the Rockets. Not a lot of scoring with Charles Jones. A little more beef on the boards, but Charles Jones nowhere near strong enough to keep Shaq from the spin.
Orlando by 13. Hardaway stopped by Ori, finding Scott. Anderson with the room for 3. Yes. The Magic 52 and the Rockets 46. And Orlando shooting so well right throughout the playoffs, 54% in this first half. O'Neal. And he's called for a travel.
One of the reasons that Orlando and Houston are the 2 best shooting teams in the playoffs is they got the great post-up players that bring in everybody. Shaq stumbles to try to get his balance as Cassell does a good job of cutting him off and making him shuffle his feet. The big guys, they create all those stand-up shots for the little guys.
Olajuwon had the pass broken up by Anderson. 4:35 remaining in this first half. Reminder coming up at halftime, Bob Costas with the Prudential halftime report, and he'll be talking with one of the all-time greats, the former Boston Celtic, Bill Russell. Olajuwon. And a loose ball foul is called. Foul on Ori, his second.
Well, so far, the post-up, the double teams, and then the toss-out for the 3 has not looked good for the Rockets. This, at least, was a better-looking shot in rhythm off some dribble penetration. So there are other ways to get those open perimeter shots and the 3-pointers.
Anderson on the penetration. Second timeout called by the Rockets. It is now an 18-point Orlando lead.
Well, we have a lot of stars in this game with Akeem and Shaq. We've got Penny, we've got Clyde Drexler, but I think throughout this series, it is going to be players like Nick Anderson who get involved. Nick having an outstanding first half. 4 out of 5 from the field, 2 out of 3 from beyond the line. And when he's making that perimeter shot, it sets up those kind of drives to the hole as Nick is ready tonight.
But at the last minute, that little double clutch freezes Olajuwon. And the Rockets right now are mesmerized by Shaq. He's picking apart it with his passing. He's dunking at the hoop. And right now, the Rockets are standing back on their heels and not challenging this young upstart Orlando team.
Nick Anderson with 8 of Orlando's last 10 points, 7-0 run by the Magic. How about Shaquille with 5 assists in this first half?
He had his best passing year on the regular season. He's carried that over in the playoffs, and as they double team him more and more, he'll have to continue to move that ball around.
You just have to wonder how much the layoff, the 5 days off, has affected these Rockets. They had been talking all throughout the playoffs how tired they were playing every other day, but they were very successful with it. Now with the time off, they just may have gotten a little rusty.
But the other argument to that is in game 1 of the overall playoffs against Utah, Akeem with 5 or 6 days rest, he had 45 points in that game.
Mario Elie upset because he thought he'd get the call on the continuation, but Dick Pavetta with the indication that he bobbled it, and it slowed down the continuation, so the basket does not count.
He should be at the line.
Yeah, second penalty situation, in fact. Correction, the foul number 3, Dennis Scott.
Well, he will go to the line for 2, but Elie wanted the basket for the potential 3-point play.
And Mario, who speaks 4 or 5 different languages, trying to talk to the officials, and said, hey, I am in the act of shooting. I shot the ball. It left my hand. I should have gotten a good field goal.
I believe he was speaking English. Yes, Mario Elie has used all those languages in his basketball travels. He has made the round. Europe, CBA, a host of teams in the NBA.
Maybe the referees weren't listening in English.
Yes. 54-37, Orlando. Just under 4 to go in the first half. Nick Anderson is on fire.
You are right, Marv. I don't even think Nick picked up the rim until he released that ball, and he had a hand in the face from Robert Horry. He is hot.
20-point Orlando lead. Mario Elie for Clyde Drexler with a post-up. Gets it out to Olajuwon. 57-39. For the Houston Rockets, this their 101st game this season. For Orlando, it is number 100. And a foul is called with O'Neal and Olajuwon involved, and it's number 3 on Akeem.
No one has been able to slow down Shaquille O'Neal all season long. He led the league in scoring this year, second in the MVP voting. Akeem Olajuwon, if anybody can guard him in the NBA, it would have to be him. And Akeem has to go to the bench with his 3rd foul. Just too strong. Maybe we'll have to ask Russell how he guarded Chamberlain in those days.
Well, in those days, you were allowed to use your legs, your knees, your forearms, your fists, anything to push that guy off the block. You're not allowed to do that anymore.
Anderson. Rare miss for Nick Anderson, who had hit 5 of his previous 7. Back comes Scott, and it knocked away the steal by Horry. Smith for 3. Elie keeps it away. Mario Elie. And the Magic leads 57-41. Talking a moment ago about the busy schedule of the Rockets, their playoff run all the more remarkable when you consider they played 16 games in 30 days. And then had the rest as they waited for the winner between Indiana and Orlando. Drexler running the floor. Behind the back move to set up Elie. Beautifully done. Clyde Drexler for Mario Elie, and it leads to a timeout called by the Magic.
Well, Clyde Drexler, an outstanding open floor player, but this what makes him so. He is unselfish in that open floor. If he's got a man ahead of him or a man cutting into the basket, he will deliver on time.
When Clyde Drexler can create at the hoop, This is the type of play that will give his teammates confidence, something they're sorely lacking right now as they trail by 14.
You're watching the NBA Finals on NBC.
Well, as Bill Russell checks out the action, do you think, Bill, he is saying to himself, let's see, if I were out there, this is how I would handle Shaquille O'Neal.
I'm sure that's what he's thinking, because Bill Russell changed the way the game of basketball was played with his defense. Shaquille O'Neal is going to change the way the game is played because of his offense. And Bill Russell's the competitor that he is. He's saying, I got to get out there.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes.
Olajuwon sitting down with 3 fouls. Hardaway. Anthony Hardaway got in the early foul trouble, sat down after picking up his second, but he's had a very strong first half with 13. 9 points for O'Neal. Hakeem leading Houston with 14. Off the steal. Anderson spinning his way. And may have been tipped home by Charles Jones.
Exactly was tipped home by Charles Jones. He had his hand pointing towards the basket instead of the other way.
18-point lead for the Magic. Drexler for 3. Yes, Clyde Drexler from downtown. He has 11. And it's Orlando by 15.
Drexler, the third leading three-point shooter on Houston. Houston, the most prolific three-point shooting team in NBA history.
Anderson forced outside by Drexler. Shot clock at 3. Drexler with the steal. Anderson thought he was fouled. Under a minute left of the half. Drexler back at the other end. And Nick Anderson arguing the play. Hurt himself by remaining in the backcourt.
Foolishly arguing. The ball was a clean strip by a dream teamer, a future Hall of Famer, Clyde Drexler.
Clyde with 13 points all in the second quarter. And the foul against the Rockets.
Well, Nick Anderson with a quick flick on Clyde Drexler. That doesn't happen too often. But then on the runner in the fast break situation goes off the rim, and Charles Jones must have thought he was on offense because he tipped it in. And now Clyde Drexler, who's an excellent defender, was getting double team help from Robert Horry, but returned the favor on the steal.
Charles Jones called for that foul. Donald Royal has come on for the Magic for the first time. Down to 25 seconds in the quarter. Hardaway, the pull-up. Horry got a piece of it. A second consecutive rejection by Horry. Drexler is fouled. So the Rockets with a late rally here at the end of the second quarter.
I think this will be a tremendous boost for the Rockets, given the fact that they were down 20 in this ballgame, 57-37, as Hardaway, who always follows his own shot, but a terrific defensive play by Clyde Drexler to force the action the other way. But having been down 20 and now get this thing close to 10 before the half is over will give them a tremendous boost at halftime. And also one other thing, I think the Rockets, before this series over, maybe before this game is over, they will think of maybe putting Kenny Smith or Sam Cassell, who's ever at the point, on Dennis Scott, and put a bigger player like Mario Elie on Penny Hardaway, because he's been killing them in general inside.
It is only an 11-point lead. As you mentioned, Matt, just a moment ago, Orlando led by 20, 7-0 run by Houston. Final seconds of the half. Hardaway. And time runs out. The Houston Rockets have to feel very good about getting back into it. Olajuwon in the first half, 6 of 12, 14 points, but the big number 3 personal fouls. O'Neal sat early after picking up his second, 4 of 6 for 9 points, 5 assists for Shaquille. The Magic leading 61-50 in game 1 of this best of 7. Bob Costas with the Prudential halftime report in just a moment, and his special guest, the former Celtic, Bill Russell. Welcome back to Orlando with the Magic up 61-50 At halftime of game one of this best of 7, let's go to Ahmad Rashad with Orlando coach Brian Hill.
All right, thanks, Mark. Brian, up by 11 points. What do you tell your team at halftime?
Well, there are a couple areas we have to improve. Number one, in the second quarter, they really started pushing the ball back at us on makes, and we didn't play great transition defense. We definitely have to improve in that area. Our perimeter shooting, we got a little bit carried away and didn't pound the ball inside enough in that second quarter also. So we just got to get back to the basics and keep our energy level up, and obviously do a great job on Akeem and Clyde.
All right, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, Hannah?
Here with Rockets coach Rudy Tomjanovich. I know you wanted to set the tone defensively. What adjustments do you make in that area, particularly on Penny Hardaway? He took 13 shots in 19 minutes.
Well, first of all, we have to play better offense. And they got some breaks on us and scored 20 points on transition baskets. Hardaway getting some of those. On his post-ups, we have to get down there quicker. We also have to rotate out quick to Nick Anderson. He's made 3 threes.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Hannah.
Marv?
All right, Hannah, and we're joined tonight by the combination of Bill Walton and Mac Kukas, and we will all take a look at the Miller Lite halftime stats. A look at the shooting in the first half. The Rockets 18 of 43 for 42%. The Magic 25 of 49 for 51%, or as you heard Brian Hill say, he thought they may have gotten a bit carried away from the perimeter. Tremendous second quarter for Clyde Drexler. 15 of Houston's 31 points scored by Clyde in that second quarter. Rockets only 3 of 10 from downtown. The Magic 5 of 11, led by Nick Anderson, who had 3, and Nick with 15 points in all. The Magic led by as many as 20. They're up by 11 as we head to the second half. Back in Orlando, both clubs making their way back onto the floor. A look at the marquee matchup between Shaquille O'Neal and Akeem Olajuwon. Taking a look back this first half.
Akeem, an edge with the numbers, but he has not found his rhythm, and that hurts his team, Houston, psychologically, because they're used to him killing whoever he plays against.
Shaq, a big factor, picking up 3 fouls on Akeem, and very patient, dishing out 5 assists against the double team.
Well, this third quarter getting underway. O'Neal had it slapped away. Good play by Drexler. 3-on-2 for the Rockets. Ellie from Drexler. Clyde Drexler has helped the Rockets turn things around.
This is what Brian Hill was talking about at halftime, transition defense, but that kind of turnover leads to a quick strike opportunity. 4 turnovers now for Shaq, 10 for the Magic.
O'Neal, not a good shot. Shaquille forcing it,
Akeem,
and the ball back to the Rockets.
Excuse me, Marv. Akeem, who rarely says anything to the referees, has been talking as the second half is starting to unfold here. About 3 seconds and backing in.
Olajuwon, yes. 16 for the Dream. And it is down to a 7-point Orlando lead. They led by as many as 20. So a shaky start by the Rockets. They came roaring back late in the second quarter. O'Neal called for steps.
Akeem Olajuwon is one of the strongest men in basketball, and Shaq is just throwing him around here, lowers that shoulder. I don't think that's traveling. I think that might be an offensive foul.
Well, he was backing Akeem out of there. Akeem is probably closer to 6'10" than he is the listed 7 feet. And there's no way he is anywhere near the 300 pounds of Shaquille O'Neal.
Akeem has lost 20 to 25 pounds over the last couple years.
Anderson deflecting it away. Houston in the midst of an 11-0 run that goes back to the second quarter, and the Rockets have hit their last 6 shots. Minute and a half gone by in the third. Horry with the run. Brian Hill going with his starting lineup opening this third quarter. Hardaway and Anderson at the guards. O'Neal, Scott, and Grant up front. Here is Scott. Yes.
A 6th assist for Shaquille O'Neal, who really is reading the double teams very well. He is seeing every one of them come, and when he is patient with the ball, he finds the open man.
And Olajuwon applauding the call by Dick Pavetta. It's a hack on O'Neal, his third.
Well, Shaq has to be happy, although this is a pet shot and pet move of Hakeem Olajuwon, that he is just going to take that fadeaway jumper. But really, all Shaq wants to do there is go straight up, challenge the shot. No way does he want to come down on the arm of Hakeem.
Why would you foul that? I mean, basically, it's a horrible shot. A guy fading away behind the backboard. The shot you would pray for a guy to take. Unfortunately, he makes it every time he does take it. Fouling it, that's not going to change it. Puts him at the line. The guy shot 80% from the line in the San Antonio series.
Orlando's lead is 7. Anderson for Grant. And again, Horace Grant wide open.
Clyde Drexler, Martin pointed out, he's been the difference. He's just quicker to the ball than most everybody else in this game.
They triple team Olajuwon, who popped it out. Drexler. And the ball ends up in the hands of Elliott, new 24 for the Rockets.
It's not a surprise the Rockets don't get more offensive rebounds because those missed threes turn into long rebounds, but the Rockets don't take enough advantage of it.
Hardaway getting it down low. Oh, the line drive jump hook by Shaquille. The Magic up by 9.
Great position by Shaq. Smart move by Olajuwon. Clearly beaten. He didn't want to pick up his fourth.
Drexler strip. Good play. Anderson getting a piece of it.
Bill Russell talked at halftime about playing Shaq before and playing Wilt before they ever get the ball. Hakeem is not meeting him as Kenny Smith drains the 3. Hakeem is not meeting him until he gets all the way to the box. You got to meet a great offensive post player at the foul line and make him work all the way down.
It is now a 6-point Magic lead. Grant, assist number 7 for Shaquille O'Neal. His career high 9. In the earlier playoff series against the Chicago Bulls. That was back in Game 4 against Chicago. Anderson tees it up. And the rebound handled by Ellie.
Horace Grant everywhere, always keeping balls alive. So many lanes open because of Shaq's presence out there.
Ori from Drexler. Pretty pass from Drexler, started the penetration and then saw Ori cutting to the basket.
And now the Rockets are starting to look more comfortable in their half-court offense. The cuts are sharper, the passes are better, and consequently they get better scoring opportunity.
Here's Anderson for 3. And last touched by the Magic.
Horace Grant over the back. The fans here in Orlando, they don't like it, but they would much rather have non-foul called on Horace Grant.
The Magic 67, the Rockets 61. Smith for 3. Kenny Smith with a second straight from downtown. It's down to a 3-point Orlando lead.
Kenny's one of the best three-point shooters in the business. He does not leave much margin for error. That's as low a shot as you can shoot and still nail it.
Ori knocked it away.
Shot clock will be a problem.
It's down to 5. Hardaway. And rebounded by Ellie. Rockets on the run. Smith with the hesitation move. Drexler with the tip. What a performance by Clyde Drexler. Orlando needs a timeout. Brian Hill with the call. The Rockets have come roaring back. They're within 1.
20-second timeout, Orlando.
Kenny Smith starting to feel it now with a three-point shot. This is an unusual spin and rotation. And the trolley wire just over the lip of the rim as Kenny is starting to feel it. And then Penny maybe expecting him to pull up for that 3. Kenny put it into another gear. Drexler out of nowhere to clean it up.
Again, Drexler anticipating where that ball is going. The first one there, tapping it home. Rockets back in it.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. By Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles. And by Microsoft, the leader in software. Where do you want to go today?
the Houston Rockets have made up an 11-point halftime deficit and come within one of the Magic. At halftime, Clyde Drexler looked at me, gave me the thumbs up, and said, hey, we've got the Magic right where we want them. He told his teammates, this is our game. We have to stay aggressive. That's what they've done, pushing the ball up on the fast break and not passing up those good shots. Marv?
All right, Hannah, and the Houston Rockets, who have been uncanny on the road, they're gunning for a 6th straight road win. That would tie an NBA playoff record. The Bulls did it back in 1991 in their title run. O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal extends to a 3-point Magic lead. Houston was in the midst of a 23-6 run going back to the second quarter. Now 23-8 the last 6 minutes and 20 seconds. We're halfway through the third. Olajuwon getting great position, but could not put it down.
Actually, Shaq got away with a little shove in the back there as he bumped him on the shot attempt.
That's not a foul. That's not a foul. Come on.
Well, they didn't call it.
Well, Hakeem is bailing out on the shot in there. We've seen him throughout the entire West just go wild against everybody. That just shows how great Shaq is.
Ellie hits the 3. Mario Ellie has tied the game at 69, and Mario, after having some problems early, has really come on. 20-point lead for the Magic that has evaporated, and a pushing foul called on the Rockets. It's on Drexler, his second.
Well, when Mario Ellie gets his feet set behind that three-point line and has that kind of time, he becomes a very good three-point shooter.
He hit the game winner in Game 7 against Phoenix. What could be better than that?
And surprised everybody.
Hardaway for 3. Horry got his arm in there to keep it alive, and Drexler able to pick up the loose ball. Here's Clyde on the run, going all the way. Clyde Drexler.
Well, your first job in transition defense is stop the ball. Nick Anderson was backpedaling all the way, and once Clyde saw that, he just put it into an extra gear to go right for the hole.
Robert Horry, he wants this ball, but Clyde Drexler, this guy will not be shut down. He knows that Hakeem is not having the typical easy day. He says, hey, no problem, good buddy, I'm taking over.
Nice inbounds play for Hardaway, and it ties the game at 71. Houston had its first lead since the opening minutes. We're coming up on 5 minutes left in the third. They go right back to Olajuwon. Shot clock at 4. Ellie lost it. Scott for 3. Orlando has missed its last 8 3-point attempts. And here come the Rockets. And Smith lost it. Ellie tried to leave it for him. And Smith did not expect the pass.
To win in Orlando, where they've only lost 4 games all year, twice in the regular season, twice in the playoffs, you got to play a perfect game. You can't have missed layups. You can't have careless, casual turnovers out there.
Hardaway for 3. 0 for their last 9 from downtown.
Clyde Drexler's everywhere.
Kenny Smith for 3. And Drexler able to pop it over Ellie. Smith. Olajuwon, I think, surprised to find himself all alone at the foul line.
Both teams have gone cold right now. The Rockets have not taken advantage of the opportunities with the long missed shots by Orlando to run, and then the Magic look like they're standing flat-footed on the missed shots by the Rockets.
Magic ball.
Hakeem is totally out of rhythm, Marv. He's hitting jumpers after passing up wide open ones. Horace, he can't find where the heck the ball went.
Hakeem has hit only 3 of his last 10 shots. Hardaway to the left hand, and it's an offensive foul. For Penny Hardaway, his 3rd personal.
Well, a very low pick and roll. Penny going to turn the corner. Robert Horry stepping in there to take the charge. And the question is, was he out far enough from the rim?
Hardaway now 0 for 5 from downtown. Orlando not able to hit the 3-pointer. 3:54 to go in the third. The game is tied. Clyde Drexler so instrumental in leading the Rockets back into this game. And this man has had 2 cracks at winning a championship while a member of the Portland Trailblazers, and now has another opportunity as a member of the Houston Rockets, a subject we discussed with Clyde.
I just think every player would love to be on a team that's fortunate enough to win the championship. But since it is a team game, I don't think you take that personal. And for the most part, you do the best you can to help in any way you can. But if you come up short, I just think that you're very fortunate just to be able to have the chance.
And Clyde Drexler tried to hit from three-point range, could not. The game is tied at 71 with 3:25 to go, third quarter.
Marv, I think Clyde does take it personal. I think it's his special hunger and push for that ring, his first, that's gotten this team here.
Shaquille O'Neal, call for a travel. What do you think, guys?
Now, that's the second time that this has happened where Shaq has rammed into Hakeem Olajuwon and they pull walk. This should have been an offensive foul.
I just can't believe what kind of therapy Hakeem Olajuwon's going to use on his chest there.
So the ball back to the Rockets off the travel. On O'Neal, Chucky Brown back on the floor, matched with Horace Grant. Here's Drexler. And rebounded by O'Neal, who accidentally took a shot in the eye from Olajuwon.
They might need a 20 here.
He'll try to work it out. Shot clock at 6. Hardaway had it knocked away. Drexler on the run. And foul. So Clyde will go to the line.
Hakeem Olajuwon, who's 10th in the NBA in career steals, loves to come in and try to poke that ball away. That time he gets nothing but eye. Amazing in basketball, you don't have more eye and finger injuries, but hopefully Shaquille O'Neal is all right.
And this is why I think, Bill, over the years, a lot of big men, and sometimes you take for granted that a big guy is above all that and not going to get hit with an elbow, not get poked in the eye. But, of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wearing the goggles, James Worthy, Horace Grant here right now, because it's a very dangerous situation. An inadvertent poke in the eye, but nevertheless very painful to Shaq.
Shaquille being checked over by Magic trainer Len Currier, replaced by Jeff Turner. The Rockets have taken a 73-71 lead. Drexler has 21 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists in a spectacular performance. Turner going short and over the glass. So the ball to Houston.
What a complete turnaround in this game. Houston was totally out of it. Orlando making every three-point shot, Nick Anderson in particular. And now in the third quarter, no one can do anything for Orlando. They're 0 for 7 from behind the line.
Here's Smith. Yes, a 3 for Smith. As Olajuwon was able to throw it back out off the triple team.
Wow, a defensive mistake by the Magic by sending 2 people to go in there and make it a triple.
Ryan Shaw going high off glass. Rockets 76, the Magic 73 with 1:50 left. In the third quarter, Marv Albert, Matt Kukas, and Bill Walton from the arena in Orlando. The Magic leading by as many as 20. Kenny Smith continues to hit from downtown. That's his 5th, and the Rockets have taken over. They now lead by 6.
The Rockets' performance in Game 2 at Utah, one of the great shooting nights of NBA history. Nick Anderson answers right back. But unless they start extending their defense, Orlando, and I think they got to come back with Penny and Shaq. You don't leave 2 superstars on the bench at the NBA championship.
Well, Shaquille still trying to recover from a poke in the eye. Here's Horry for 3. Yes! Robert Horry, who hit 6 from downtown in Game 6 against the Spurs. Able to knock down his first of the night, 82-75, Houston.
Orlando deep to their bench. They got to get the ball to Dennis Scott and Nick Anderson.
Shaw for 3.
occasions. Not a good shooting year from the perimeter, from beyond the three-point line. He actually helped the Magic beat Houston back in March as he came through and Shaq was in trouble and fouled.
Kenny Smith with his 7th three-pointer. And Smith has 18 points in all, 85-78. Houston, Shaw turned back on the rejection. It leads to Smith ahead of the field, giving it up to Drexler. The Rockets 87 of the Magic 78.
Akeem gets it done with the block, but Orlando's making a mistake. Akeem is just passing right now. They got to stay at home on the deep shooters.
Final seconds of the quarter. Horace Grant bringing the Magic within 7. And that will do it for the third quarter. A remarkable turnaround by the defending NBA champion Houston Rockets. Kenny Smith, 18 points in all. Rockets by 7. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. Kenny Smith on fire from downtown. Kenny Smith hitting 6 of 9 from three-point land. An electrifying performance by Smith. And he does it again. Smith getting the room from out deep, putting on a three-point festival, which gets a nice reaction from Sam Cassell, and Kenny Smith has tied a record for an NBA Finals with 6 from downtown, joining the likes of Michael Cooper, Michael Jordan, Bill Laimbeer, and Dan Marley. The playoff record, most three-pointers in a single game, Dan Marley has that with 8.
But that's what a team's all about, Marv. They see their main man, Akeem, as Smith goes again. But they see Akeem getting run over. They see him getting dumped on. Everybody goes, hey, this is our man. We're going to cover him tonight.
Well, Kenny Smith showing he can also hit a two-point conventional field goal as this fourth quarter gets underway. Nick Anderson. Anderson with 20 points. Another 3. He's 4 of 7 from downtown. Rockets lead 89-83. Shaw for Hardaway. So the Magic within 4.
We may see a lot of three-point shooting records broken in this series with these two teams. They're 2 of the most prolific ones in the NBA.
Horry from downtown. Robert Horry continuing the three-point assault. Houston with its 22nd attempt from three-point land. Orlando with 20. They've combined for 42. That is a new NBA Finals record. Anderson, O'Neal on the follow. Rockets lead 92-87.
Marv, I think Orlando's making a mistake by doubling down on Akeem right now. He's not killing anybody. Stay at home. Let's see what Akeem can do against Jack. He hasn't been that successful.
Shaw going all the way and then changed his mind, and a foul is called. A blocking foul on the Rockets.
Rudy Tomjanovich was talking yesterday just how simple their whole system is. We want to run every opportunity we can. We want to post Akeem or Clyde, and when we get doubled, we want to shoot three-point shots, and that's exactly what they have done in this third quarter. Shaq was running the floor very well there in transition. Normally, the Magic are able to find him.
Foul was called on Horry, his third. Hardaway. Fouled by Ellie. Mario Ellie picking up his second.
The foul number 17, Mario Ellie.
Well, Houston 11 of 22 overall from downtown. Orlando 7 of 21. So that's an NBA Finals record for makes and attempts. Nick Anderson pumping 1 of Orlando's many three-point attempts. And Robert Horry gets into the act. with 2:05 gone by in the fourth. It has been a three-point festival. The Rockets leading by 5.
The NBA Finals continue. Game 2 Friday night at 9 Eastern on NBC.
Here's how the Rockets are getting some of these open three-point shots for Kenny Smith. Here, a mistake here. Brian Shaw going and Jeff Turner going down to double team and leaving Kenny Smith wide open. The Magic are told, come down and double team from the foul line. Well, both Shaw and Turner were there, but they didn't communicate and both went, and that's why some of the Rockets are getting open.
Kenny Smith in his 8th year out of North Carolina. This guy was the 6th overall pick in the draft in '87, and he was chosen ahead of Kevin Johnson, Horace Grant, Reggie Miller, and Muggsy Bogues.
And Bill, remember, a year ago in the NBA Finals against the New York Knicks, he started slowly and then finished strong. A key factor, particularly in that last game.
And he had some huge buckets late in the game in the clincher against San Antonio.
And three-point shooting records are falling here tonight. The 5 3-pointers by Smith in the third is a new NBA Finals mark. Shot clock at 6. Olajuwon with 20 points. And the Rockets lead 94-89.
And Shaq was that close to getting that jump hook on the block.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you don't come down and double team him. But right now, it's pick your poison. It's either going to be Olajuwon inside or the open three.
And Steve Javi with the whistle, and the foul is on Kenny Smith, who came over to help.
Akeem will get it on the dump down and then look a little hesitant, a little confused, and then go with the hitch and come right back. Akeem jumping high, and Shaq fighting for that tremendously deep position. Akeem forcing him back to that right shoulder. The hack down from the perimeter guards. Good, solid defense.
I'll tell you one thing, Shaq does not quite have the footwork of Olajuwon, but nobody does. But it is amazing how good Shaquille's footwork is, and he had it ever since he came into the league. The summer camps have really helped him, and he can only think, Bill, it's going to get better and better.
Well, this guy's future is unlimited, and his present is not too bad.
Now, Bill, didn't you work with Shaquille a bit?
I was in another lifetime.
I see.
Back when I still had red hair.
Oh, Chucky Brown for the Rockets at a 6-point Houston lead. I was told that you had actually worked with Shaquille on his free throw shooting.
No, that was the other guy. I worked on the dunks and the blocks, and
you want no responsibility. And a foul on Olajuwon. That's 4 on Akeem. Shaquille has 3.
Nothing with footwork here, just a quick catch, drop step, and get in the air. So nice little change-up by Shaquille. He has been trying a couple of little moves, little pump fakes. This time one right at Akeem and caught him on his 4th foul.
Marv, you talked about the development and involvement of, or the evolution rather, of Shaquille O'Neal's game. This guy has always had a really good game. I think the biggest change has been the mental approach to the game and trying to vary what he tries to do, realizing he's got to be a shooter, he's got to be a skilled player. He's certainly moving in that direction.
And he's 3 of 5 at the line. 17 for O'Neal. Houston leading by 5. Game 1 of the best of 7 NBA Final Series. Orlando got off quickly, led by as many as 20 for the Rockets with a come-from-behind effort, led by the combination of Drexler and Smith. All of the steal. Hardaway's attempt broken up by Ellie. And the officials disagree. Joe Crawford, the outside man, saw it one way, and Steve Javi underneath the basket with another call, so they will jump it up.
Terrific hustle by Mario Ellie in transition defense to get back. Normally, that would be an easy breakaway dunk. Steve Javi had the play going in the Rockets' favor, but Joe Crawford, trailing from the other side, had it going the other way. So we'll go up to the jump ball.
I think the replay shows it was a good call.
8.5 remaining in the 4th. Here's Shaw. Brian Shaw with 9 points, and it's now a 3-point Houston advantage.
Shaw really turned it around in Game 5 against Indiana. He's been on a tear since.
Oh, Shaquille came over from the backside for the block. Anderson all the way. The Rocket lead is 1. Olajuwon. Taking it back out as O'Neal did not go for the fake. And they're on their feet here in Orlando. The steal by Hardaway. O'Neal. Rebounded by Ori.
Who was Akeem guarding that time? If that was not illegal defense.
Well, Charles Jones guarding Shaquille O'Neal on that sequence. Smith for 3. And back comes Shaw. 3-on-2 for the Magic. Hardaway spinning and rejected by Ori. Robert Ori with another block shot.
Well, Charles Jones does not get too many scoring opportunities and doesn't get one there as Shaq saw that one coming all the way. And normally Penny Hardaway doesn't get too many things sent back, but Robert Ori came from his blind side. But Horace Grant right now at the other end is playing outstanding defense.
O'Neal on the recovery. And Olajuwon with the rejection. Ori. Back comes Anderson. Wild end-to-end basketball. Hardaway. Penny Hardaway from downtown. The Magic leading 98-96. And for Hardaway, his first three-pointer, missed his previous 5. Olajuwon, yes, and it counts.
This is the part of the game that Orlando is not used to, not having been in the finals before. Not being used to the referees putting that whistle in their pocket. That's the way the game is being played right now. Shaq picks up his 4th on the quick drop step. Akeem doesn't wait for the double team, just goes right away, catches Shaq napping a bit.
6.5 left. 4th quarter. We'll be back in a moment.
Red Dog presents tonight's NBA Finals moment.
And tonight's topic, expansion first. Back in 1971, Oscar Robertson and Lou Alcindor led the Milwaukee Bucks to the NBA championship in only their 3rd season and marked the earliest an expansion team made it to the finals. The Bucks swept the Bullets in 4 games to win the title. So only the 1971 Milwaukee Bucks able to advance to the finals more quickly than the Orlando Magic.
Marv, we talked earlier about guys changing the game. Bill Russell here tonight. There, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. His unbelievable impact for 20 years in the NBA. Akeem Olajuwon, and now the future Shaquille O'Neal. Akeem trying to hold him off. It's going to be tough.
How about the block Akeem made on Horace Grant? Went straight up, got the block, a close call, but that's the kind of break a former MVP, a former Defensive Player of the Year will get. And in case Akeem Olajuwon got right there.
And a future Olympian, 96 in Atlanta.
The game is tied at 98. Orlando was trailing by as many as 9. Hardaway. And Hardaway able to tip it back to Anderson.
Charles Jones doing as good a job. Oh,
a blocking foul on Jones. What do you think?
I don't know how you can call this a block. The man's just standing there, and someone who's 300 pounds runs over you. That looks like an offensive foul.
Well, we have had 3 of these situations. We've had a couple of walking calls. We had one called on, no, that's the first one that has gone Shaq's way, actually.
Do you think that the fact that it was Charles Jones had anything to do with that? No, I don't think so.
Well, Shaquille is now 4 of 6 from the line. Charles Jones played only 3 games for the Rockets in the regular season. 38 years old, out of Albany State. With Detroit last season, they released him, signed by Houston, and the Rockets his 15 in his 11 NBA seasons. Orlando leads 198. They doubled up on Akeem. Open shot for Drexler. Rebound O'Neal.
Orlando's defense much better now. They got Shaq controlling the weak side. They got Horace Grant taking Olajuwon out.
Anderson. O'Neal keeps it alive.
What hands. Strength, quickness.
Here's Shaw. Trying to dish it off. And it will be Houston in possession.
Interesting, Brian Hill is keeping Dennis Scott, a prolific three-point shooter, on the bench. A very dangerous perimeter shooter right now. Going with Brian Shaw, going with his quicker defender.
5:10 left in the fourth. Ellie. Mario Ellie has tied the game at 100.
I was wrong earlier. I think that's his shot. I think he's trying to hit that shot.
Mario Ellie has 16 points. We're under 5 minutes left in the fourth. Anderson blocked by Drexler. Grant. Anderson with the tip. And Drexler comes away with it. 3-on-2. Drexler for Smith. For Ellie. And a foul.
Well, Mario Ellie breaking down the defense, getting into the lane. This is not, Bill, I don't care if it's a shot or not. This is not an easy shot, especially on the run like that. But we have seen Mario Ellie make it a couple times. We talk about what a good shooter he is from the perimeter. When he has his feet set, that runner is difficult.
Mario Ellie was a high school teammate of Chris Mullen. Power Memorial High School. What small world the world of basketball is, where Abdul-Jabbar went to high school, grew up right next door to the Hall of Fame, or no, went to college next to the Hall of Fame in Springfield.
Bill finding all the ironies of the game here down the stretch.
But how about the block by Hakeem Olajuwon to start that last fast break? Hakeem playing with 4 fouls, still with reckless abandon underneath the hoop.
And 3 blocks for Hakeem, 4 for Ori, 8 in all for the Rockets. They lead by 2. 4:20 to go. In the fourth, Ellie with the steal, try to save it, could not. Shot clock by Anderson. It's down to 2, and Steve Javie says, my timeout, looking at the shot clock.
Well, he must be thinking that there was a possession there as they ran into the corner. I think it was Mario Ellie who got his 2 hands on the ball, or Kenny Smith just flipped it high in the air, thinking that maybe Clyde Drexler could chase it down. Clyde Drexler, like a wide receiver in football, trying to go up between 2 defenders to either break the play up or catch it.
Reset the 24-second clock to
But Steve Javie did rule that possession was had on the throw out, so that will give the Magic 21 seconds on the shot clock.
Post up Hardaway.
As Hardaway going against Ellie, taking him down low, going to the spin, got some help, and able to hit, although Olajuwon came over. What a shot by Penny Hardaway.
Houston has made the defensive switch that Matt Gukas talked about early. Put Ellie on Hardaway in the low post.
Olajuwon, rebounded by Shaw. The game is tied at 102. O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal, providing the Magic with a 2-point lead.
Well, Shaq loves to run in transition, and he goes right for the front of the rim. That time, Brian Shaw hit him on the slide.
The Rockets call for time.
You talk about a tough shot maker. Penny Hardaway in a post-up against a rugged defender in Mario Ellie, and with Hakeem Olajuwon coming over to help out. Penny stayed with it and stayed with it, grinding it out to knock this down, and then Shaq running the floor, and Brian Shaw hitting him perfectly on the run.
Hakeem was running as fast as he could and could not even gain a stride on him. Ori was there for a play of his own. Nothing anybody could do. The big man finishing.
You're watching NBC, the premier sports television network. The NBA on NBC is brought to you by McDonald's, the official break of the NBA. Have you had your break today? By Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. And by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Well, at the start of the telecast, we discussed 2 points. This matchup, the marquee matchup between Olajuwon and O'Neal, and what role some of the guys you may not think about might play. Well, Olajuwon and O'Neal, in terms of points, have played to a standoff. Shaquille with the edge in rebounds and assists, but other guys have also been able to get into it.
But I think Shaquille has controlled the game. Hakeem needs to have a lot bigger offensive numbers. He's a playoff leading scorer, and he looks hesitant out there.
Here's Drexler for 3. And O'Neal able to pull it away from Olajuwon,
which is remarkable because Hakeem's hands are so strong and so quick. And Shaq is having his way.
Well, just an awful possession by the Rockets coming out of that timeout. Very tentative. I'm sure they didn't get the shot that they wanted.
O'Neal, the line drive jump hook over Olajuwon. Orlando 106, Houston 102, 2:45 remaining in the fourth. Here's Hakeem. It counts, and the foul. Foul on Grant. That is his second.
A moment ago, battling for the rebound, the spin reverse move to get position, and then the quickness, the snatch. And Shaq just reaches out and pulls it right away, then comes back and says, this is how you shoot a jump hook.
Well, I'll tell you what, that shows you how much Shaq respects Hakeem Olajuwon. He tried to box him out. Normally, Shaq will just go after the ball. Very rarely puts a body on somebody.
3-point play for Olajuwon to cut it to a 1-point Orlando lead. Hardaway finding Grant and deflected out. Last touch by Olajuwon. And the Magic will have 10 on the shot clock. How about Penny Hardaway firing him up here tonight? 22 shot attempts for Hardaway. He averages 13 a game during the regular season. O'Neal with the tip, and tipped home by Shaw.
That's the problem when you allow Shaq into the middle. When he misses that jump hook, there's just so many offensive rebound opportunities.
3-point Orlando lead. Olajuwon, yes. And he felt he was fouled. Thought he was hit on the hand.
Oh, these are not easy shots by Hakeem. As great as he is, he's had to take that. He can't even turn into the basket. The defense has been that tough, but he's a great shot maker, too.
Shaw for 3. Olajuwon with the rebound. Hakeem now has 27 points. And Shaq with 23. We're under 2 minutes.
Drexler in the post.
Horry for 3. Way off. Got glass.
Terrible shot. Early in the shot clock, they finally force a tough miss. Hakeem gets a big rebound, and they get that.
Orlando in possession. They lead by 1. O'Neal backing his way. And Olajuwon could do nothing about stopping the move by O'Neal. Timeout is called by the Rockets.
When Hakeem comes to the middle of the floor in a double-team rotation, Horace Grant gets 1. This is just beach volleyball up above the net for everybody. Hakeem will come back with a move of his own. The running Jabbar skyhook. Hakeem prefers the jump hook, but against Shaq, you got to come up with new stuff time and time again.
And Shaquille O'Neal feeling it as well, that he can get into the lane very quickly. The nice up and under move, and the soft touch on the jump hook.
Well, Ahmad Rashad reporting from the Orlando bench that Shaquille took a good shot in the eye and took a shot on the throat earlier, was asked a question and indicating that he can't talk, has a sore throat.
I think he's saying, hey, don't bother me, I'm busy out here. What's really happened for Houston, though, is that Ellie, Drexler, and Horry have only combined for 7 total points in the 4th quarter. They were the guys that carried them back to that huge 3rd quarter comeback.
Yes, Clyde Drexler in particular, with the explosion earlier, very quiet in the 4th. Olajuwon coming up short. And a foul is called. Joe Crawford with the call.
And it's going to be on the side. Non-shooting foul. The Magic have been killing the Rockets all game long on second chance points. 18-7 and 8-0 in this quarter.
And that number 5 on Shaquille O'Neal. 14th foul on the Magic. Rockets over the limit. Olajuwon lost his footing. And it's a traveling violation.
Good call. Akeem, normally the master of footwork and balance. Usually when he hits somebody, the other guy falls down. But you bump into Shaq and you feel like you run into a wall.
Actually, he stepped on Brian Shaw's foot, who came down to double team. That's how he lost his footing.
All right, 50 seconds left in the fourth. The Magic with the ball and a 3-point lead. Shot clock at 10. Hardaway. Hardaway. Rebounded by Grant. Huge offensive rebound for Horace Grant, who has controlled the boards. 30 seconds left in the fourth. And the shot clock now at 12. Shaw for 3. Rebound handled by Hardaway. Another Orlando offensive rebound. Houston must foul right here. And now the foul call with 10.5 seconds to go. Foul on Ori.
Well, this is why you need rebounding, and Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the best rebounders in the league, only has 4 in this game. He was actually walking the other way. It looked like the smallest player on the floor, Kenny Smith, had reached inside position. He couldn't handle it, but the Rockets have hurt themselves on both boards.
Nick Anderson making his first appearance at the line, usually a dependable free throw shooter. The Magic with all kinds of difficulties at the line this season, particularly in fourth quarters. Today, though, Orlando 12 of 15 at the line. And Anderson missing on both, but gets to the rebound and again draws the foul. 7 7/10 seconds remaining. Drexler picks up the foul, and Anderson, a 70% free throw shooter, will shoot 2 more.
Well, everybody flat-footed, and Mario Elie came inside, but just stabbing at it. And the Magic get a huge break here after 2 Nick Anderson misses. He'll get another chance.
How can you expect to win an NBA Finals game if you cannot get a defensive rebound off a long bomb 3 after no inside post-up, and then you can't get a rebound after a really top player like Nick Anderson misses 2 free throws? Houston shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, rebounding has been a problem for them, well, even when they had to start. But especially after the trade, Rudy Tomjanovich was saying, well, we're not a good rebounding team anyway. They were going to do it by committee. And another miss by Nick Anderson.
Well, the 3 to make 4 rule,
that's in effect, I believe, yes. And he misses 4 straight. The Rockets take a timeout with 5 6/10 seconds remaining. And Houston has 1 full timeout remaining plus a 20. Orlando with 2 and a 20. We'll be back in a moment.
I'd like to call long distance, please. Cleveland.
And I don't like you. Yes, you do.
Orlando beginning to show signs of life. Hardaway
with authority.
With a spectacular maneuver.
I love this game. The friendly, I gotta love it. Don't you know?
Well, Nick Anderson had just missed 2. Penny Hardaway can't even look because he knows Nick is struggling. And now, this is where the mind really starts to play tricks. You've missed 3 in a row. You want to make sure you just get it up there, and it's too hard off the back iron. And the reaction of Nick Anderson, knowing that if he had just made 1 of those, it would have given the Magic a hammerlock on this game.
All right, Elie throws it for Smith, looking for the 3. He's been on fire and hits. He's tied the game at 110 with 1 6/10 seconds remaining. And that is an NBA Finals record for Kenny Smith. That's his 7th from downtown.
Usually with this much time, you want to try to get it inside and pass it back out. But Kenny Smith says, forget it. I got us here. I'm going to take us one more step, get this to overtime, but there's still plenty of time for Orlando as they learned in the Indiana series the hard way.
The Magic and the Rockets are tied at 110. What a night for Kenny Smith. 23 points in all. Rudy T giving the sign for the 3. He's seen many of them tonight. We'll be back after this from your local station.
Substitution number 3,
1 6/10 seconds remaining. The game tied at 110. And the 4 consecutive missed free throws by Nick Anderson, so costly, leading to the 3-point shot by Kenny Smith. Brian Shaw will throw it in. Here's Scott. Dennis Scott blocked by Robert Ory. At the buzzer, we head to overtime. Ory with his 5th block of the game.
Well, and a very courageous, dangerous play there, although a nice little move by Dennis Scott to get a better look at the basket, but Robert Ory at 6'10", coming over to challenge and actually getting a piece of this. Good move by Dennis Scott and a terrific recovery by Robert Ory to get all ball.
Robert Ory is the 2nd leading shot blocker in the history of the SEC, along with Shaquille O'Neal. And this guy could send a lot of shots back.
Take another look as
that's a great block.
Robert Ory, after he was beaten, recovered to get all ball.
And we're headed to overtime. Back in a moment. Well, tonight, following your local news, it's the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and his guests include golf's top money winner this year and U.S. Open contender Peter Jacobsen, plus singers Anita Baker and James Ingram. That's the Tonight Show with Jay right after your local news here on NBC. We're headed to overtime, and this, the 23rd overtime game of the history of the NBA Finals. The last 5 have all been won by the visiting team.
Well, this is familiar territory for the Orlando Magic. During the regular season, they played in 10 of them and went 7-3. The Rockets played in just 1 and lost that.
Foul trouble, a big key here. Shaq's got 5, Hakeem's got 4, Ory's got 4. Brian Shaw, a reserve who could easily foul out. He's got 4.
5-minute overtime session. Remember, at one point, Orlando led by 20. That seemed like it was 2 days ago. Shaquille O'Neal not able to hit. Rebounded by Hakeem Olajuwon and a reach-in. Oh, apparently a jump ball. Horace Grant able to reach in for the tie-up.
Horace Grant playing another solid, not spectacular, but very efficient game. 13 points, 15 boards. The big guys, though. Shaq with 13 rebounds, dominant.
And Hakeem with just 5. Bill, you do need rebound.
It's tough to play against Shaq. You bet.
Kenny Smith, who has set an NBA Finals record with 7 from downtown. Robert Ory rejected. Brian Shaw and Penny Hardaway in the backcourt. O'Neal with Grant and Anderson. Here's Anderson for 3. And the tip by Grant.
Robert Ory just not getting a body on Horace Grant. I'm a little surprised by the last Rockets play, trying to post up Robert Ory when you got Olajuwon and Drexler out there.
Orlando with a 2-point lead. Olajuwon pops it out. Ellie for 3. Drexler keeps it alive.
There's that rebounding by Drexler. That's when he's at his best.
11 rebounds for Clyde. Ellie with the step. Sets up Ory for 3. Yes. Robert Ory with 16 points The Rockets lead by 1.
And that's when Robert Horry is a better shooter. Once the ball goes inside and comes back out, we saw him at the end of the fourth quarter just come down and take one without exploring something else inside.
Putting a move on Olajuwon and draws the foul. That is number 5 on a team.
Well, Horace Grant times these shots so well, carving out some space. Just no contest inside with Robert Horry as he moves him out of there for the tip-in. And now penetration by Mario Elie sets up this good look for Robert Horry.
The fact that Elie hit those 2 runners really forced the defense to collapse on him. Shaq again, so powerful, so strong on that cross-through move right to the hoop, just battering Akeem out of the play. The foul called on Akeem.
But foul shots killing the Magic. Shaquille is now 5 of 8 at the line. Orlando only 4 for their last 11 after they had hit 8 in a row. The game is tied at 1:13. A minute 45 gone by in this 5-minute overtime session. Olajuwon for Smith. Horry fires away again with no conscience. It didn't even look like he had the handle on the ball.
That's a heat check. You just knock it down, you pick it up off the floor and throw it up there, and it's nothing but net.
The Rockets by 3. Hardaway with the spin, and he's fouled. Well, Robert Horry is now 4 of 8 from three-point land. And here is another look.
Well, Robert Horry was trying to stab this with a fork. He never looked like he ever had his hands on it. But I think feeling it from the 3 that he made before, he made some clutch threes in that San Antonio series.
Well, he had 6 in the final game. Dennis Scott for 3. Rebounded by Olajuwon. Rockets with a 3-point lead. 2.5 to go in overtime.
The Rockets have to keep scoring. A 3-point lead not near enough. There's a ton of time left in this game.
Back comes Hardaway. Scott for 3. And rebounded by Jones.
Attack.
Well, Shaq was back there with 5 fouls, but Clyde making a wise move with a 3-point lead.
How about a chance to draw a foul on Shaq, though? He's got 5.
Horry again. Anderson with the rebound. Scott for Hardaway. And Hardaway was looking for a foul call on Horry. No call.
Everybody is starting to look around and waiting to hear calls. Like, nobody can hear whether it's a whistle or not out there, but hey, you got to get back on defense.
Rockets by 1. A minute and 39 to go in overtime. And Rudy Tomjanovich calling for time.
Terrific play by Orlando on the fast break after it's kicked out to the wing. Dennis Scott quickly gets it right to Hardaway, who finishes. No foul there. Everybody looking around, but it's so loud in here. The party atmosphere continues, and nobody can hear a thing.
What'd you say, Bill? We'll be right back. Well, a reminder, Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 on the West Coast. It will be game 2 of this NBA Final Series. That'll be 9 o'clock in the East, 6 in the West, right here on NBC. A minute 39 remaining in overtime. The Rockets 116 and the Magic 115.
Well, the last time the Rockets came out of a timeout, they did not execute very well. They've got Charles Jones on the floor right now with Shaq guarding him. He'll be able to help out Horace Grant watching Olajuwon.
Olajuwon going right at Grant. And the Rockets now lead 118-115. Akeem is 12 of 24. He has 29 points.
Drexler so good at getting the ball to Akeem Olajuwon.
Down to a minute 20 in overtime.
Don't shoot that one.
Hardaway. And he's turned back.
Akeem.
controller. This is a game that has seen both clubs combined for 58 shots from downtown. It's a new finals record, and they've hit ball total 22, also an NBA Finals record. Nice pass from Hakeem. Shaquille O'Neal broke it up. Horry with the steal.
Great defensive play by Shaq. But then he just threw the soft outlet pass to Dennis Scott, and Robert Horry, playing possum, snuck back for the steal.
And the foul given by Scott.
Foul number 3, Dennis Scott.
Hakeem in the lane after he sent back a great shot attempt with the block. He gets it back on the offensive end, converts there. But it was the defensive play by Shaq. It surprised everyone. Just snatched it right out of Drexler's hands.
Non-shooting foul. Next foul, though, by the Magic puts them over the limit. 35 seconds left in overtime, and the Rockets using the clock. They have a 3-point lead.
And obviously the Magic don't need a foul here. What they're thinking is get the stop and then the timeout.
Found one of the travel. Horry not able to hit the three. Down to 15 seconds. Orlando with the ball down by 3. And a timeout is called by Orlando.
This same situation was in the late game in the Phoenix for Houston, and they just fouled them the whole rest of the way, put them on the line. Orlando wasted so much time getting the ball up court before they called this timeout. Ryan Hill wants to earn a timeout. If you can't hear yourself, though, you got to use hand signals.
Well, I think Penny Hardaway was looking to explore something, didn't have it, finally got the signal, and finally got the stoppage of play.
It's been Bill Russell's night here as Hakeem dumps it down, and Shaq just takes it right down like a grapefruit.
And a terrific defensive fake by Robert Horry, who turned his back to a Shaq, trying to lure him into making that soft pass. He did, stepping into the passing lane with a gigantic steal.
If I'm Houston right now, I foul right away. Put him at the line, and then just have it become a free throw shooting contest the rest of the way.
8 6/10 seconds remaining in this overtime. 3-point Rocket lead. Dennis Scott looking to inbound. Couldn't find anybody and has to use a timeout.
Well, Penny Hardaway was the only one coming out to the top of the floor, moving towards the basketball. Everybody else for Orlando, if they've taken a 20-second timeout, all got packed in down towards the baseline. Dennis was in a lot of trouble. Bill, I agree with you in this situation. Foul and then make it a foul shooting contest.
Well, Houston with 2 and a 20 remaining in terms of timeouts. Orlando with 2 timeouts left.
I kind of like this. Somebody finally agreeing with me after that last group I was with.
Hey, taking open shots.
Terrific defensive play by the Houston Rockets to get into the passing lane, knowing, because they are well scouted, knowing that the pass is for a man coming up to the top, and Mario Ellie stepped right into that passing lane and stopped the play.
8 6/10 seconds remaining. Again, Scott, this time able to inbound, comes back to Scott for 3, and he's tied the game at 1:18. The Rockets call for time with 5 5/10 seconds remaining. Dennis Scott hitting a second from downtown. Orlando had missed its previous 7 3-pointers.
And that's
as we said before, as Dennis Scott was the inbound passer, still a lot of time in this possession, 5.5 seconds. When you throw the ball in and step in, you're the man that's generally open.
And Orlando's next foul would put them over the limit. Robert Ory setting it up. Getting set to receive the ball from the official, Joe Crawford. And a delay of game taken. As Orlando wanted to look over the alignment.
It's usually for the man underneath the basket, Drexler.
Drexler puts the move on Anderson. Drexler with the finger roll, the tip by Olajuwon. The Rockets lead 3/10 of a second remaining, and a timeout called. Timeout taken by Orlando. What a tip by Hakeem Olajuwon.
Well, Drexler was the man, and he just dropped his head and driving it hard to the basket. And what happens here? Shaq coming over to help out to try to block this, and that leaves Hakeem Olajuwon all alone on the weak side, and he just knocked Horace Grant out of there to tip it up and in.
When you're driving to the hoop against a great shot blocker like Shaq, just get it up over the top, because you know nobody can compete. Two guys for Orlando go flying. Nick Anderson, Horace Grant out of there, but there is still a ton of time. The 0.3-second rule now in effect.
Which means that all you can do is tip one in. Clyde Drexler, not even thinking jump shot in this situation, figured I'm going to drive it to the basket, put the onus on the officials. If I'm hit, will they put me on the free throw line or not? But he made the wise choice and took advantage of Shaq helping on D.
What Orlando needs to do is through the back screen with a lob, as Rudy Tomjanovich exults in what he hopes will be a record-tying 6th consecutive road victory for the Houston Rockets. But Orlando is undoubtedly drawing up a play over a back screen for Shaq, or I think Penny Hardaway, who can really get up above the rim to throw the high pass and then hope they can dunk it down. If you're the Houston Rockets, you got to put your hands all over your guys. Don't get reversed and don't get back screened.
But I think you've got to put a big man, and it might, I'm not sure about Olajuwon, but maybe Charles Jones on the inbound passer to get all over that inbound passer so they don't get a look at get a good chance at a lob pass.
If you're Rudy Tomjanovich, you want Hakeem Olajuwon guarding Shaq.
Yeah, I'm saying, but somebody's got to put pressure on that ball.
Charles Jones.
Jones will put the pressure on the inbound. Orlando has one timeout remaining. Brian Shaw checking in, and now Jones steps away.
Oh, I'm surprised that
they're going to zone up Hakeem underneath the basket.
It has to be a deflection with 3/10 of a second remaining. The Rockets by 2. Shaw. Now Shaw to the basket, and that will do it. Houston Rockets, in a come-from-behind effort, continue to win on the road. The tip by Hakeem Olajuwon, the game winner. Hakeem finished with 31 points. And for Houston, their 6th consecutive road win and their 8th road win of this playoff season. In overtime, the Rockets win it. Let's go to Hannah Storm. Hannah?
I got the record three-point shooter here and the guy that kept him in the game. First, your desire for a championship just kept this team in the game when they were down, Clay.
Well, I just think this team has been down before. We just never give up. We just continue to work hard, and we know the big fella is going to come along.
And he was not able to dominate the game, Kenny, and you came through offensively. What happened in the second half? You had only 3 points at halftime.
Well, in the first half, I felt there was opportunities for me, but I just didn't feel comfortable taking a shot. In the second half, I just felt a little bit more comfortable. Shot was blessed and started going on.
It's unbelievable. You guys hand them an overtime loss on their home court. What does this do to the complexion of the series,
Well, this is just game one. We happen to win game one. Game two is going to be, I'm sure, another tough struggle, and we're looking forward to it.
You guys are a heck of a road team. Got to give you that. Okay, Marv?
All right, Hannah. So once again, the final score in overtime. The Rockets over the Magic here in Orlando, 120-118. The finals continue Friday night here on NBC with Game 2 of this best of 7. Catch the action beginning at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, right here on NBC. For Matt Kukas, Bill Walton, Ahmad Rashad, Hannah Storm, and Bob Costas, I'm Marv Albert saying so long from a very quiet Orlando arena. This has been the NBA on NBC. NBC.